Hey guys, we're going to take a look at the new Ryobi P785 hybrid cable lights. So they're individual lights that are attached together on this strand. They're run off of this hybrid base station that can take an 18 volt battery or 120 volt wall power. Alright, so here's the setup. It's the base unit, which supplies power, and then you've got a single cord that runs between all of these lights. You've got 10 feet in between each light. They're wired in series, so there's no on-off switch. They all come on at once. They all turn off at once. You can't switch any one of these on and off by themselves. You've got the power switch here, which will turn it on to high. If you hit it again, it'll put it on medium. You hit it again, it'll put it on low. You hit it again, it'll turn it off. This takes 120 volt wall power, or it takes 18 volt 1+ batteries. And obviously, it cannot charge the battery while it's plugged in because you can't plug them both in at the same time. The base unit has 2 keyhole slots for mounting this on a wall, and it's got a nice handy 3 1/8 inch measurement. It even says it on here, so you don't have to even measure it. So you just put 2 screws 3 1/8 inch apart and slide this down onto them, and it'll stick on the wall for you. It's also got these hooks that I guess you could hang it by, but I've found actually the best thing for these hooks is actually when you're transporting. See, I grab this one and I grab this one, and you can pick up this whole mess of cables just by grabbing the base unit that way then. Otherwise, this is really just unwieldy to transport because these are actually pretty hefty. So light output for these is 500 lumens each on high, so 1500 lumens total. And if you bump it down to low and medium, you get more runtime. And Ryobi does not have a specification for what the lumen output is on low and medium, but I'm guessing it's around 1000 lumens for medium and around 500 for low. Power draw on this 4 amp hour battery lasts about 3 hours. I did a runtime test with the 1.3 amp hour battery, which is the smaller one of these, and it lasted exactly 1 hour. So this one's 3 times that capacity, and I don't think you're going to get that much efficiency boost because it's a fairly low current draw from this. So you're not going to probably have the pack heating up that much. Speaking of heating up, I ran these for several hours and let them get to a steady state temperature. They got up to about 145 degrees, so that's pretty warm, but it's not hot. They also have these multi-position wire bails that they go around a screw, or you can hang them on something for each of these lights, so you can adjust the angle they're at. And the way they do that, it's just spring-loaded, and it's got little stops here that they flip over. So I don't think that's going to wear out anytime soon. These are plastic, and it is rubbing on those each time. It might get loose over time, but I don't think it will. These handy little cord wraps are really nice. It would be impossible to manage this without them. They've got a little catch on 4 different places for the cord, and then you can unwrap them however much you want and pop them back in there, and then you can hang these if you want, or you can probably just let them hang in between lights without having any support. Now, these do come completely off. If you don't want them, you can just take them off and store them somewhere else. You don't have to have them on the light. They're not attached to the cord. And when you do turn these lights on, all of them come on at once. There's no individual switch, so it's all or nothing, and they'll all be on the same mode when they're on. Alright, so these individual lights are a little bit hefty, and I wanted to see what was going on inside them, so I already took the screws out on these. There's just 4 Torx T10 screws holding this together. You can see here they are on either side. There's the holes. You'll actually need a really small hex key or a Torx key to get in there because you can't get in there with a normal bit. And then you've got to slice open their little sticker right here. It's kind of maybe a tamper-proof thing they've got going on. Get your finger in there, fingernail in there, and pry it apart. These slide off. So it's just 2 plastic sides. And you can see there's a big fat aluminum heatsink in there. So these are probably getting pretty warm. I haven't run an endurance test yet to see how hot they get. But so all this just comes right apart. There we go. And they just got regular wire nuts splicing these together with the cables for the LEDs, and that just runs along here through here and connects. Not much waterproofing going on right here, but this does have a little rubber gasket sitting in that little groove. This is just like a polycarbonate lens with a little bit of frosting on it to diffuse the LEDs. Then you got your 3 LEDs here, and that's about it. So really, if they had waterproofed this little pass-through right here, this seals it, and I don't see much else that could have gotten wet if they had just, put some silicone here, and then maybe in those wire nuts it could have been pretty passable water resistant. So I really don't know why they didn't do that. It seems like it wouldn't have been that much additional cost to put a few dabs of silicone on this. Alright, so I've got this running off of wall power right now. It's on high. I've got all 3 lights running. You're always going to have all 3 lights running when it's on. And it's not quite as bright as I expected it to be. Go ahead and pick them up and spread out the light a little bit more. It doesn't quite feel like 1500 lumens. I'm used to, using other lighting products like a lot of the Milwaukee tripod lights, which are the first one they came out with is 2000 lumens, so it's not a ton brighter than these, but it feels like it's brighter than these. And it might be that these, the lenses are frosted on these to kind of diffuse the 3 individual LEDs. It doesn't have any reflectors, and that might be it. Alright, so I'll go ahead and put this on medium, and then this is low. And that's pretty dim. And you're going to get, I think it's 6.5 hours of runtime on medium and 15 hours of runtime on low when you're using a battery. And I'll go ahead and swap that out, and you can see there's no real difference. Now it's on high, then medium, and then low. And off. Alright, so I think this is the setup I'm going to go with in my shed. I've just got to mount the base station to the wall. It's sitting on the ground right now. And I've got 2 lights hung up over here and 1 right here. And you can see it's pretty bright. So maybe I'll take back my 1500 lumens. Isn't quite cutting it. It does seem bright when you've got them strung up at a distance, all in different spots. So this is definitely great enough. You can come out here. Plenty of illumination to do anything I need to do in the shed. I'm not doing any detailed tasks. I'm just grabbing something, or putting something away. So I think this is going to work great for this application. Much better than a floodlight would. But for any other application, or very other limited ones, I think the floodlight's going to be better for most other situations. Alright, so you can see I've got the lights hung up here. And just hung in the little holes I've got in the ceiling already. That was convenient. And then down there I've got the base station. I'm probably going to take some screws and mount it right here just so I walk in, and I've got a light switch right there. Alright, so I had shot a wrap-up where I did not really recommend these lights because the floodlight is so much easier to move and transport, and it's brighter and it's cheaper. After putting them up in my shed and seeing how nice they were in my shed, I would say that is the one case I would recommend those lights. So if you're putting them up in a permanent installation that doesn't have corded power out to it and you're just going to be running them off of batteries, I think they're worth it if you want shed lighting. For any other situation, in my opinion, I don't see it really working that great. I'd rather have a floodlight. But you might have a different use case that it's really just going to be the best lighting solution for, and I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Alright, so keeping all that in mind, here's the original ending I shot before putting them up in my shed. Alright, let's talk price point. For this, it's $100 bare tool. That means it doesn't come with a battery, but you can use it with an extension cord without having a battery, so you don't necessarily have to buy one unless you want the cordless convenience. I think it's a little bit high for what it is. If you look at Ryobi's own floodlight, it's also a hybrid version. It's 1800 lumens, and this is 1500 if you use all 3 lights. So you're not getting a brighter light output from this, you're just getting the ability to point the different light heads in multiple directions. So if you want to light up 360 degree lighting, this is a better solution than the floodlight, but if you just want to point it at a wall or point it at a work area and have illumination in one spot, the floodlight's going to be easier to move, it's $60 to $70 depending on if you catch it on sale or not. So it's significantly cheaper than this, and it's actually brighter. So that's the one point where I think the price point's a little bit high for these. And in addition to that, it's not water resistant in any way. So wrapping up, I'm not really blown away by these lights. I think they're a little bit overpriced for what they are, and the light output just doesn't seem that bright. They would be good for just lighting up a shed, which is what I'm planning on using them for. I don't know if they're worth the hassle of moving them from place to place. I'm planning on putting mine up and leaving them there indefinitely. So I think these definitely have like niche applications where they'd be good in, but I wouldn't recommend them over the floodlight if you just want general task lighting and you want to be able to move from place to place. These aren't your light. So hopefully this review is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below, and once again, don't forget to subscribe.